We're talking hockey, Rollsy and Rupper talking hockey. Another big guest coming.
Hello and welcome to That's Hockey Talk. That beautiful voice you just heard was our pal of the pals, our northern friend at Bubba Gumpino. Gumpy, how you doing?
All is well, my friend. All is well.
All is well. I am your host, Nick Moraldo, at Nick Moraldo. It's a beautiful night for hockey on YouTube, and joining us, as always, the Stanley Cup champion, the best broadcaster in the biz, Rupper. Mike
What's
Rupp,
up?
how you doing, buddy?
Good, fellas. I don't know. I learned something new today that apparently you can get COVID via the airwaves. So am I good? Am I good with you guys? Or what?
Oh, this son
I
of a
mean,
bitch.
What are you
don't
trying
know.
to say, dude?
Listen, I know the hockey world's a different world, but I saw what's going on there, and I don't know. Should we be doing this right now?
Listen, you're safe, okay?
Okay,
We're all Gumpy and I we're shot up, we're good to go. We're immunized, we're vaccinated, we're all good to go. Of course, you have to bring it up right off the top. You know, Sidney Crosby, of course, goes down now with COVID, as well as Brian Dumoulin, which Brian Dumoulin's getting no shine in this whole thing. Everybody's talking about Crosby and Dumo, one of the best defensemen on the team. You know, great stud two-way defenseman, top pair guy. Poor Dumo, he goes down. He's sick as a dog, and actually is asymptomatic, which is great news. But no one's talking about Dumo. Everyone just wants to talk about Sid.
Yeah, dude, it's tough sledding in Pittsburgh, man. In the Berg, they just want to ice a healthy lineup here, and they haven't been able to do it and don't look like they're going to anytime soon. So I think we'll dive into that in depth a little bit more later because there's a lot of concerns, man. Obviously, you want these guys, first off, it's COVID. You want them to be good and healthy, and I guess Sid was showing some more signs than Dumo per Coach Sullivan. So hopefully these guys heal up here quick.
The other thing, man, T's and P's to everyone being afflicted out there. We want to make sure everyone's surviving and staying healthy and everything. But right now, we got somewhat of a surprise guest because this was kind of a last-minute great booking on your part, Rupper. Again, great booking. We got, ladies and gentlemen, joining us now. He's one of the best broadcasters in the biz. Dare I say, might be better than you, Rupper.
He is 100%.
He's working on the NHL Network. He's working for ESPN now. Got the brand new ESPN gig. He was a long-time goaltender in the league, solid backstop. And let's not forget now, he's an insider. He's breaking news left and right, ladies and gentlemen. Weeksy, Kevin Weeks, how you doing, brother?
I'm great, boys. Thanks for having me. Thanks so much, Ruppy. Thanks for getting me on. I'm an insider. I'm literally inside my hotel room. That's what I'm an insider of right now.
Hey, but Weeksy, again,
I'm inside the hotel room here in Anaheim.
No, thanks
Anytime,
for joining us.
Go ahead.
So you're in Anaheim. You had on ESPN. You had the Devils Ducks game last night. And what do you got on schedule? You got something Friday, right?
Yeah, we have Arizona at the Ducks on Friday for ESPN Plus again. So we'll be doing that one, and then just down the 405. I don't want to mess it up, but in LA we'll also have the Kings. The Kings are playing in LA too, and I think that one is the Devils. I want to say I know Linda Cohn's going to be on that one, Boosh and Bucci. So, but yeah, we'll have the Ducks and the Coyotes here from Anaheim from the Honda Center on Friday on ESPN Plus.
Well, guys, I'm gonna talk Weeksy up here for a minute because Weeksy is my all-time. Weeksy, you can cover years, whatever. My all-time favorite teammate, best guy, one of my closest buddies. This guy would do anything for you. That's what made him a great teammate. He bails us out last minute, says, "Hey, I'll hop on." And you know what? It was perfect timing because you came out with a bombshell of a tweet not too long ago, a couple hours ago. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? I think we're going to pull it up here, but we might have. It was explained earlier today that the Jack Eichel trade rumors might be on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, thanks so much, Robbie. Back at you. You know this. So basically, since you and I spoke, I was in conversation with somebody that's real dialed into this process. That's real close to the process. I mean, can't get closer to the process. And this is what I was literally told before tweeting this. So let me preface it by saying this, okay? For all you fans out there and all the viewers, let me say this. You know how fluid these things are, right? You know how fluid these things are. They're always ebbing and flowing, especially when you're trying to trade a superstar player like Eichel. It's never easy. There's always a lot of moving parts. Salary flat at $81.5 million. So that, not to mention Eichel's health, where he's at, his elected method of surgery that he wants. But all that to say, I said, I think 3 days ago, it's come down to Calgary and it's come down to the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, we know that the Vegas Golden Knights are besieged by injury. We know that. But from what I understand, they put together a really good package. From what I understand from people close to this, this is Calgary's package. And this is where Calgary lands. This Calgary package right now is juicy. I'm not saying the Vegas one isn't juicy, but this Calgary one is super juicy. And if I'm the Buffalo Sabres, the fact that in this package you have Matthew Tkachuk, who could be your future captain in the departure of Jack Eichel, who's your current captain or was your current captain, I don't know how they don't bite on this. I think this one's too juicy to turn down if I'm Buffalo.
Hey, that's Juicy Okinen, man. Juicy Okinen, Juicy Saros, whatever way you want to explain it. It's nice. And what makes it that though, Weeksy, for me, and I think you're on the same page on what you fellas think, is when we start hearing about the teams, right? Well, what can these teams do? I think that Vegas has this window that they're going to be operating under, that they need Jack. They need him badly. This year, next year, I think we're getting to a point here in Vegas where they've been gamers, they've been movers, and they've been going on everything. But it's going to become a point here where I think that they might start looking more like expansion than they have in the first few years, right? Because they've been coming out of the gate swinging.
Whoa,
so that's why I think now's the time. Strike while the iron's hot here for Vegas Golden Knights. But then when I look in Calgary, you start thinking to yourself, well, how is, and I want your opinion, Weeksy, on this, is like, you've got this Flames team who's been a really nice surprise so far this season, right? When you look at them, the way they came out on that road trip, they won 5 straight games on the road. They're sitting at 6-1-2. Let's pretend we didn't even see what you heard was potentially offered there. Do you go after Jack by salvaging potentially this season? You know what I mean? Like you're going to disrupt a really good thing that's going on. Like where do you fall in that?
Listen, I love Jack. I've always been a Jack guy since he's at BU. I love his game. But if I'm Calgary right now, I'm chilling. There's no way I'm in on that. Why? You don't really need that piece. It's a piece that you want. But is it a piece that you really need? To your point, I got to see them up close at the Garden last week, man, when they played the Rangers. Their team looks good right now. And I didn't see it coming, but Daryl Sutter has done it again. Like Britney Spears. And without the oops. He's done it again. Like, this squad looks real good right now. I'm telling you, this squad. And watching the team, they're not soft. And Rupper, this is your wheelhouse. Like, they were soft before, aside from Tkachuk and a couple players, Rasmus Anderson and some guys, and Luch, of course. They were a team that was soft. Not now. These guys are skating. They're going to the hard areas. They're making hard plays. They're battling for position. They're battling on the boards. They're battling in front of both nets. Theirs in the opposing net. I don't know that I would mess with the mix. If I did, I don't think Jack is the necessary fit for need. I think it's more so for want. But here's 2 variables I should say in that. Number one, Monahan's still banged up. Right? He's coming off a surgery, hip surgery, although he's playing. He's supposed to be their number 1 center, but he's banged up, right? Number 2, here's the other thing. Matthew Tkachuk's deal's up at year's end. You know you're going to have to pay him a boatload. It's probably going to have a 9 on it, maybe a high 8 on it, depending on where he is on an average AAV. Here's number 3. Just throw it out like the Count from Sesame Street. 3. This is the third point. This is my third point. Okay. Johnny Gaudreau, his deal's up at the end of the year too. He's the UFA.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they don't think they can re-sign Gaudreau. I don't know if they don't believe they can re-sign Matthew Tkachuk. I'm not sure. But all that to say, by need, it's not a deal that they need to make. To me, it seems like this is more of a want for Calgary. If they do it.
I'm glad you mentioned the whole need thing because you're right. It doesn't feel like Calgary needs to make this deal, but it does feel like, oh, did we lose you?
Oh, no.
See, this is on me. I've been mushing bets all week. Now I go to ask Weeksy a question.
Mush
the connection.
That Count joke sent him into a different dimension.
Here we go.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, exactly. StreamYard just sent me into the backyard. Go ahead.
Hey, this thing's a beauty to StreamYard. It's a real clunker, huh? But Weeksy, I'm glad you mentioned need. You mentioned it with Calgary. They don't really need
That's
Jack
all good. Go
Eichel,
ahead.
and I agree. That's kind of a luxury piece for them. It feels like Vegas, even before the injuries, even before the William Karlsson injury, the Stoner injury, feels like they need that number one center that Eichel could potentially be for them. I don't see them making it to a cup final with Chandler Stevenson as the number one center. And that's no disrespect to Chandler Stevenson. It's just I feel like if you get Eichel in there, you kind of get guys slotted into the correct place in their lineup. Like, is Vegas willing to? I know they've been in on this since the beginning, and they seem to be the one concert. Are they willing to up the ante here and go all out? It seems like Calgary is. Is Vegas willing to kind of sell out for this deal?
Hey, Rupper's been saying this all the time that Vegas needs that true number one center, that true number one pivot. I agree with Ruppy. The only thing is, I love your question too. Is Vegas willing to pay the price? Are they going to get sign off? They've got great management there with George McPhee and Kelly McCrimmon, an unbelievable majority owner, and Bill Foley, who I have a ton of respect for, as well as those two gentlemen I mentioned. I'm curious to see. I don't know if they've gotten to their best in final, but from my understanding, it seemed like Calgary put a couple extra dominoes on the table. They slammed a couple extra cards on the table right now. So I'm curious. What are you guys saying? Go ahead, Grumps.
If Tkachuk's involved in that deal, Vegas cannot match that. There's no way.
I agree.
Right?
That's true. Like the only way, yeah. Like here's the thing: they've got Tuck is injured, and I like Tucky, but Alex Tuck's injured, William Karlsson's injured, Pacioretty's injured, Stoner's injured. So I know a lot of it is centered around their first rounder, Peyton Krebs, that young prospect. A lot of it, he's drawing a lot of interest from Buffalo. But if I'm Buffalo, if I can't get one of those guys that I mentioned from Vegas, that's kind of tough, man. Tkachuk is the way to go, I think, at that point. I love Tkachuk. I love both of them.
Yeah, for me, if I'm Buffalo, the only way I strike a deal with either of these two teams is if Alex Tuck is involved from Vegas, and if Matthew Tkachuk is involved from Calgary. That's like starting point number one. So now it's about, are you willing to do that? And to your point, Weeksy, with all those injuries and Tuck being one of them, and it's not going to stop at those guys. You're going to have to give up more, like your proposed trade was there. It almost feels like you're willing to throw the towel in on this season for the long term of Jack Eichel, which could be great, man. It could be unbelievable. I put it this way. If that dude would end up in Calgary, what do you think the Battle of Alberta is going to look like in a couple of years, right? I mean, that's the juiciest thing that I mean, to have Connor go back to the 2015 draft, 1-2, the rivalry there, that would be incredible.
That'll have all the sauce on it, bro. All the sauce. Barbecue, buffalo, Hawaiian, honey sticky, sweet and sour. Every kind of sauce will be on that one. The Battle of Alberta is nice. And Rupper, you know this. My girl Megan and her family, they're from Calgary, and they're from Alberta in general, but they have family in Edmonton and in Calgary too. So Calgary radio right now is gone berserk. Calgary Twitter is going berserk right now. Everybody up in Alberta that cheers for Calgary is going crazy. And everybody that, to your point, that cheers for McDavid and Draisaitl and them and the Oilers is going berserk. Because if this deal gets over the finish line, this deal is consummated, the Battle of Alberta now would go from a 10 out of 10 on the dial to like a 13 out of 10 on the dial. It'll be breaking through the mercury, I think. I definitely think so.
No, that's true. Yeah, I mean, but I'll leave it at this.
I definitely think so. It'll make it hype, man.
The Battle of Alberta, even if you add Jack into that mix, would be great. But it would be really missing Matthew Tkachuk if he was the one leaving, man. He'd be the one.
That's the thing is I hate.
Of course, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially Gumps when the addition isn't an addition now. The addition might not be till next season. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's really tough. But we see to go on to some other. Yeah, go ahead.
Get me in for 1 second. Here's my one thing though. So I don't know if you guys were talking about this before you started the show, but here's my one thing. I don't know what's going on because Buffalo is trying to do it, and they're working diligently on it for sure. My former teammate Kevin Adams is their GM. But my one thing is I wouldn't, if I were them, number one, I would not have stripped like below the sea. Number two, I would have tried to do this deal and close this deal sooner. Because here's the problem. Now the season's going, and some people that thought that they had warts, now they're like, no, that's actually pretty smooth skin right there. We're good. We don't need to make this deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some of these teams, so now some teams are better than they thought they were going to be, including Buffalo.
Yeah.
Some teams are better than they probably thought they were going to look. Some players that they were unsure of, whether by way rookie players or young players coming in the fold or what. Look at Jersey. We just had their game last night. Dawson Mercer looks nice for Jersey right now as a rookie. You know what I'm saying? So Jersey was a team that we know we're interested. We don't know if they still are. But my point is the longer this goes, to me, the less potential suitors Buffalo's going to have for this deal, less potential dance partners. And quite frankly, I think the price is going to continue to decrease. That's what I think. I think Buffalo should have struck this deal earlier. So if they can take this Calgary deal now and they get Matthew Tkachuk, though, that's pulling a rabbit out of the hat.
Ooh, yeah.
Have to do it.
You got to do it. You got to do it. I'm 100%. And I'd love to see Matthew and Brady in the same division as well. That's another caveat to it all. So there's some big contracts signed, and this is kind of a two-parter here. Because I'm pretty sure you were the guy that was throwing this one out there early, maybe broke it, the big breaker, the insider that you are. We had the Morgan Riley deal. Talk about the Morgan Riley deal, what that looks like for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then Foxy Clean's deal in New York.
So let's start with Foxy Clean because Foxy Clean is fresh and clean, and he just won the Norris. So let's start with him. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that was smart business by the Rangers, getting him locked up now. Because here's the thing, you know what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, you ever know when you're gonna buy a gift for your significant other or your lady, your boyfriend, whatever your denomination is, somebody important in your life, and you see the price and you're like, all right, let me check back on the website tomorrow. Then you see the price, you're like, let me go back to the store tomorrow. The freaking price hasn't changed unless it's Black Friday. Like, you know what the price is. You know what I mean? So to me, the smart teams are proactive. The Rangers were very proactive with Foxy. You know what you have. He won the Norris. He's doing some things that the great Brian Leetch, Hall of Famer, and arguably the best defenseman in their history, he's doing some of the things that Brian Leetch used to do. And I played against Leetchy, and so did you, Rupper. So I look at that, and I'm like, that was a smart piece of business by the Rangers. So that's my first thing.
Weeksy, are bridge deals dead? Feels like they're kind of dead.
I think they're situational. But here's the thing, though. This is my one thing. When it's New York, boop, 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 and you've got all those Brinks trucks. You got all those Brinks trucks driving around the city. Like, exactly. I mean, boys, you're good. You know what I mean? Somebody's got that in a gym bag somewhere in Madison Square Garden's offices. You know what I'm saying? So I like the deal. Ruppy, I'm glad you asked me about that. I love that deal. And the Morgan Riley deal up in Toronto, back home, I would say this. I think that it's a really team-friendly deal. Clearly, by what we saw in the marketplace, he could have gone out and gotten more in the marketplace. However, if you're him, for all the off-the-ice stuff that they get there in Toronto for free, he don't care. Free cars, free clothes, free food. He's fine. He's good. And he's already been there. He's the longest tenured person. So I think that probably factored into his decision. And he probably thinks that they're closer to winning than everybody else thinks. Go ahead, Bumps. I see that finger on the beard. What do you got?
What the hell do the Leafs do if they shit the bed again this year, Weeksy?
Bro, you're just asking me that because I'm from there. Yo, I don't know what to tell you. Rupper's heard me say this numerous times. I don't know what to tell you, but all I know, and I don't want to dog anybody because, you know, we have friends in every organization. I played with Shanny. We both did. We played with Shanny. I played with Sheldon Keefe when he came in the league in Tampa, their coach. If it's not this year, then I don't know what to tell you because now they've got so much money tied up in 5 players, let alone 4. Yeah. Now with this extension for Riley. So I mean, all I could say is they haven't won a round. Like, they've won one round in 17 years. That's not normal. And now this group, and a lot of that predates this group, but this group too, like in 7 years, they haven't won a round. And Shanny's done some really good things. They have some awesome players, but the rubber's going to meet the road this playoff. So I understand your question. It all comes down to the postseason for me with their group. And if they can't get by whoever it is they're playing, they better hope they don't have Boston.
Yeah.
They better hope they don't have Boston.
At this point, they better hope. They might be hesitant. They might be hesitant to get anybody. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
it's true.
You know, I don't know. I don't know, man. It is. This is the time where something has to give, or in my opinion, the Kyle Dubas reinventing the wheel experiment is over. It's got to be. And you still have equity. You've got a lot of pieces. Now you got to be creative, and you've got to move on, and you've got to try to figure some things out. Because there's, John Tavares, he ain't going to get moved. He's not going to want to get moved. He came back there for a reason. We saw him in his pajamas. He wants to be a Leaf. You know what I mean? He's there. He ain't going anywhere. So they've got to be very creative if that's the the situation there. If I can't even imagine, dude. I can't even imagine Toronto if that happens again. And it's got to be tough because no matter what they do in the regular season, doesn't matter. They can go win 25 in a row right now, and no one's going to give a shit. No one's going to care. They're going to say, "Talk to us in April or May."
Totally, man. That's where the rubber is going to meet the road. That'll be the proving ground for them. Is can they get by a team and win a round? Like last year, they had Montreal in the 2 3/4 count, and they jumped up from that hold like the Hulkster, and they jumped up back on that mat. And they ended up just doing their thing. Montreal came all the way back. And listen, give Montreal a lot of credit for that. But my biggest thing with the Leafs, and I'll say this too, is ultimately they have too many types. There's a lot of redundancy in the lineup. There's too many of the same kind of players. You know what I mean? Similar style, similar traits. It's like having a team that has like 8 quarterbacks on it. You don't need 8 quarterbacks on your team. You might need 3, maybe 4, but you don't need 8. That's kind of their squad for me right now.
Weeksy, I got something for you here. There were some rumors on the internet. You know, we like to stay tuned in and dialed in over here that you were potentially a candidate. I don't know if you interviewed. I don't know what was going on, but a potential GM candidate for the Pittsburgh Penguins when they made the switch after Jimmy Rutherford stepped away from the position. They'll ultimately end up going with Ron Hextall, and that's still working itself out. But I'm curious if you wouldn't give us a little taste maybe of if you were in that position, you take over as GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins, what would your outlook for that team be? Because I think there's a split road decision between the fan base with a lot of people right now of I'm a Penguins fan first and foremost to let you know, like a lot of people are wondering, hey, are they rebuilding? Are they reloading? Are they going to try and strip it down? Or are they going to try and go for it one last time at the twilight here, Crosby and Malkin and Letang's careers? And I'm just curious, as a man who has seen as much as you have and the knowledge for the game that you have and everything, what you would have tried to do with that team had you gotten in there.
Okay, so with respect to it, all of that was pretty, I really wanted to respect the process and respect my coworkers and where I work and everything else, and also the other candidates. So none of that came to light through me. But since it's all come to light now, nonetheless, I would say this. Respect for Ron Hextall and Brian Burke in the role now for sure. Anything that I would do or that I would have done with them, or if it's ever with any other club, is really try to find a lot of synergy with the ownership group and make sure that we're on the same page in terms of what day-to-day looks like, what the vision for the organization looks like, how you treat people internally and externally, and creating an atmosphere where people can feel like they can thrive no matter who they are, what they are. So that's kind of like some of my principles, my founding principles. But specific to the Pens, my first order of business would be to speak with, after ownership, with Sid and Gino and Letang. Fellas, what are you looking at? How are you feeling? How are you doing? You guys good? What would make you happy? What would be best for you guys? Do you guys want to stay here? Do you want us to move you to another contender? Do you want to finish your careers here? Do you want to do a 2-year extension here? What do you want? That would be my first thing, just out of respect to them. They've earned that. 3 future Hall of Famers. From there, after I hear what the ownership said and what they'd have to say, that would have been, and this is nothing against Jari, because I think Jari's a nice tender. He's real good. But in a unique window, I would have tried to reacquire Marc-Andre Fleury. And I do know that the deal that they offered for him for the Flower wasn't the most enticing to Vegas, clearly. I would have thrown in another piece or two pieces just so Vegas couldn't say no, because that's exactly what the Pens needed at that time. If not him, my man that I saw last night that I talked to, who's going to be on Team USA in the Olympics, John Gibson. Pittsburgher John Gibson.
Please, Weeksy, please.
He's a stud.
Hey,
He's a stud.
you know what? You're singing that tune right to Nick's ears right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And my boy Sudsy's Anaheim's goalie coach. So we went to dinner last night. We're actually going to go to dinner tonight again, him and I and his daughter. But I spoke to him and Gibby last night after the game. I've been bullish on Gibson since he was in the OHL in Kitchener. That guy's studly. So I would try to acquire either one of those guys, rather. But Marc-Andre Fleury, you get the unique situation because he's a pending free agent, right? So then you could, in theory, if you could make the dollars work on a second contract, then you could have him and Jari riding together, which would be sick in a perfect world. Because I really like Jari's game too. But if you're really swinging for the fences, and if you're looking at something different, then I think Gibson makes a ton of sense. I said this last night on ESPN Plus on the broadcast. If I've got a contending squad and I have any question or maybe like one itch or maybe like a little twitch that we might need a goalie, I'm definitely trying to get John Gibson.
Yeah.
For sure.
Agree,
so that would kind of be my 1, 2, 3 steps that I would have done, or that I was strongly considering anyways for them.
Hey, I appreciate you answering that. I put you on the spot there, and that was music to my ears, man. I would have loved to see that happen. So hey, good luck in the future too. If you're still running for any of those gigs, I'd like to see you get in there.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, go ahead, Ruppy. I see you had something.
Yeah, no, we'll let you go here, run to your dinner, and we'll let the listeners know whether they're watching this live with us now. Weeksy, I talked about this. We're doing Wednesday night live watch-alongs. Obviously, there's no game. I think there's games are starting right now. So, but we'll have you on another date talking about your career and all those different things. But the one thing that we love, you've been a backup to Hank.
Aces.
Actually, hang on. You were the starter when Hanky came over. Is that correct?
Starter to start, but that was I was a starter to start, but that wasn't going to last longer than the start. He was that dirty.
So maybe you got a Hanky story. Maybe you got a Brodeur story. Maybe you got an Artur Zerbe story. Give us some crazy things that you see as the backup guy.
Let me give you Archie, as he's known, Herbs and Spices. Archie Urbe was such a great dude. He's such a good. All those guys are really cool, but Archie was so cool. And what's interesting is we share the same agent, in Paul Theophanis, Ruppy, and when we played together, Archie and I had the same. We had Theo at that time too. But what was really cool about Archie was we're playing the National Hockey League. We're starting this run in the postseason and the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I'm watching this man in his stall in between periods, hand sewing his gear. Like he's playing, he's literally playing. So we're in first intermission, and he's going into his little kit, and he's pulling out like some horse needle that they use, I don't know, in Churchill Downs to do sutures on horses, and some thick ass thread that he had, and he's sewing his gear. I'm like, bro, this is the NHL. What are you doing?
This is the National League, right?
This is the National, bro. Like you're actually repairing your own gear. So he would do that literally, I don't know, every 3-4 intermissions. He'd literally be sewing his own equipment together. And his gear was bootleg. Like it was kind of like street hockey gear. Archie wasn't a gear for aesthetics guy. He was a function gear guy, right? Yeah. So, I mean, if you're going to, this, Rupper, you're playing in the playoffs, you know what the tension's like. And this guy's basically knitting. He's crocheting his own gear, repairing his own gear. So that would be one of the funniest things I could tell you.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
You know what? It may not have been aesthetically pleasing for some people. I loved it. I love the look. I love the little guy, active. Like I just loved all of that about him, and I think that shows those small goalies like that, what they had to actually deal with. Now, when you look around, I'm not trying to make it sound like goaltending's easy. Week C, geez,
it's true.
But I don't know if a guy like Artur Zerbe can make it in the league now. You know what I mean? Like, it was incredible what he did. Yeah,
totally, man. It's amazing what he did. The closest thing to him now is Juicy Saros in Nashville, who's sick. But he's a 5'11" guy. Archie's 5'8", 5'8.5".
How tall was Marty Turco?
Man. He played hard. Turks is maybe 5'11", and he's probably around UC Saros' height. Yeah, Turks is probably a 5'11" guy.
Legend.
Weeksy, I'm gonna let you in on a little thing for Gumps if you don't know. So Gumpy's from Vancouver, but his team's the Stars. So give us one last thing.
No,
what? I'm
gonna give you the Chris Tanev cam. Tanev cam.
I give you the Louis Erickson.
Exactly.
What can we make? What can we make with the Dallas Stars? Give Gumpy something good so he can sleep well tonight. Who are they?
The Dallas Stars are in the process of redefining who they are, what they are, and how they want to play. But one thing I will tell you about them, and this kid was injured, is that California kid Robertson is money. He was a Calder Trophy finalist. He's sick. I think he has a really, really bright future in the league. He's slick. He can see it. He can read it. He can make plays. So I know he got his first goal of the season. He was injured and banged up, but keep an eye on him. But as a whole, right now, their squad, they're just trying to redefine who they are and what they are. That's where I see them right now, Ruppy, to be real. But hey, one thing I love about them though is they look the part. All their setups are fire.
Really nice.
Oh,
really nice.
Well, hey, buddy, a couple more goalies. Jesus.
I know my boy Jeff Reese is their goalie coach there too. They got 725 goalies on their roster. It's true.
Well, hey, Weeksy, I know you're going out for a steak tonight, so enjoy your steak dinner. We appreciate your time, buddy, and we'll definitely have you back down the road and keep breaking news and crushing it with ESPN and NHL Network and all the other spots you're at.
Thank you, bro. Back at you. You're one of the best in the biz. Guys, hey, listen, thanks for having me. You guys are doing an awesome job. I like this. It's unconventional. It's real. It's authentic. And it's a great opportunity for viewers to see and consume sports in a whole different way, in a way that's real, just as if we were hanging in the basement or hanging at the bar or, getting buffalo wings. So it's really cool, man. Keep up the great work. And don't say down the road. That better not be like 5 months from now.
No.
Better be sooner than 5 months.
We'll check you next Wednesday. Soon. Next Wednesday, what you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you. Cheers, boss.
Hey, he's way too nice, Rupper. He's way too nice.
Dude, he's literally he's the best human being I've been around in this game. I mean, he'd come on, dude. If we asked him to come on, he'd come on every day, all the time. Like the dude, I'll tell you what though, when you hang with him at like these events, right? Like Stanley Cup Finals or whenever we're working the All-Star game, this dude, he has this thing he used to do on Instagram. I don't know if he does it anymore. If he's still paying it, or if he's still on this, he would be able to chime in. But we call it Eats with Weeks. This dude is the biggest foodie ever. And we'll go out in the Stanley Cup Finals. I remember when Tampa. So when Tampa, it was Stanley Cup Finals in 2015. Weeksy is, he finds, this is his move. He'll find a steakhouse. He found one in Vegas when Vegas was in the finals. And he's like, Ruppy, I got a spot. Let's go. Goes and gets this big steak. Okay. The next night, Ruppy, I got a spot. Let's go. We go back. It's the same place. And we had the same steak. He goes for lunch and dinner and has like a full-fledged steak dinner time and time again. The guy's an absolute animal, best in the biz, class act. I love him.
That's incredible. That's so refreshing to hear when you work with a guy like Gumps who eats a bowl of porridge and berries every single day out of the microwave. It's the most disgusting boring, bland-looking thing I've ever seen. I'm sick of it.
But look how
How is
healthy,
that disgusting?
Look how healthy and shiny the beard is, man.
Day. Fucking Guy Fieri's fucking kitchen every goddamn day for lunch. Fuck off.
Oh, I can't get enough of it. Hey, this is a question we probably should have asked when Weeksy was on, but that's all me. That's bad hosting. I'm going to ask it to you, Rupper. A couple episodes ago, we asked for some people to send some questions in, and I finally went through and took a look at some of the stuff we got. And I got one here that I really wanted to share because we've been talking about them a lot, not just on this show, but also on the Pat McAfee show. The Detroit Red Wings.
Okay.
Not as bad as they used to be, right?
Yeah.
Last year, they absolutely stunk. They weren't invited to the tournament for the COVID Cup because they've been in the middle of a rebuild, just absolute terrible. But this year looks like some of those young rookies, it looks like they're starting to, the seeds are starting to bloom a little bit. We're starting to see some signs of fruition here at least. And this is John Cushion, I believe. John Cushion. He asks, how long until the Red Wings rebuild needs to include veteran winners before this young core gets ruined by not knowing how to win games? Fans who stuck it out, seeing these young guys drop the game. That was heartbreaking. That was a tough loss against Tampa Bay. They were up big and blew three goal leads in that game. But basically, he's asking here, at what point do the Wings kind of flip that switch and add some veterans either in the offseason or a deadline to get that veteran leadership, the grit, the sandpaper, the jam, whatever it may be, and kind of teach these guys some lessons?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's a great question. They've been one of the real surprises this year. And when you look at the group, did you guys see it was against Florida the other day? Did you guys see that stretch in the game where there was like block shot, absolute and utter chaos? And for any of the viewers that are sitting here, just type in shit. You can make up anything. Just say Detroit Red Wings chaos versus Florida or something. It's going to come up. And when you watch it, this will show you Detroit's got something special going. And because this is a team that's willing now to lay down and block everything, to outwork opponents. They've got skill. We know this. No Dylan Larkin right now, but they've got Dylan Larkin. Tyler Bertuzzi's an absolute beast, what he's done. I mean, you look around, Lucas Raymond, he's been phenomenal, the stuff that he's done. And then you've got on the
9
back
points
end,
in 9 games. Guy's a point-a-game player already.
He's been unbelievable. You got Sider on the back end. They've got the picks. They've had the picks the last number of years. And I've said this and I'll say it again. Tampa is trying to defend back-to-back Stanley Cups. They're going for their third in a row here. And Julien Brisebois, he deserves a ton of credit because he was the guy to pull the trigger on the Blake Coleman, Barclay Goodrow, to pair them up with, John Cooper put him with Yanni Gordon. We know what the rest is history, what they did. But Steve Yzerman's fingerprints are all over that.
All over.
Steve Yzerman should have gotten a couple rings out of that too. So they're in great hands. Steve Yzerman's the man for the job. I love how they stuck with Blashill this entire time because there's been expectation there. And they're starting to move things. I don't ever want to say it's what it was back in the heyday of the Red Wings, but they're starting to create a culture where it's just drop guys in and they'll find their slot in the lineup and just go. So I love this group. That's no bullshit. This is going to be a team. I'd say give it next year. I would like to see them pushing for a playoff spot. Hell, if they could do it this year, do it. I'm all on board. I'll be a fan. But it might take a little longer. I'd say probably in like 2 or 3 years, they should be a team that should go deep in the playoffs.
This is why I always say with stuff like this, like if we get deeper into the season here and they're still hanging around that playoff battle, reward the guys in the locker room. And maybe you don't swing for the fences, but you do something at the deadline where even if you're going to sell some guys on expiring contracts, I don't know what their makeup is right now. I'm not that in tune with what's going on. I'll have to look at the more we go. But even if you got to sell a couple expiring contracts, make sure you go out and get somebody else to kind of tell the boys like, hey, hell of a job this year. Like, we believe in you. Even though we may sell off a guy or two, we're going to bring in some help in whether it be a hockey trade or even if it's a rental, if it's a low end one. Like, don't mortgage, don't go throwing away first round picks for something just for this year. But you're right. I think next year you go look at the offseason. Then maybe you try and go for one of the bigger fish in free agency because people like guys don't want to go in Detroit just because of the history and a young up and coming team. Like, I mean, that original 6 lore, I feel like is real, and people will want to play for Steve Yzerman and a team like that.
Yeah, and I didn't really answer the actual fucking question. The actual question was,
we got it though. We got
I
it.
just thought about it. I'm like, I actually didn't say when they should start going to get veteran guys. So here's the thing. I think what you're alluding to, the guy with the question there, is when are they going to go after like that big guy at the deadline to get him over the hump or somebody in that manner? They're still going to get veteran guys, maybe even at the deadline this year, like you mentioned, if they're in the hunt. But that's going to be more just quality pros.
Yep.
I don't think they're there yet to go out and be like, all right, listen, player X has an expiring contract in, St. Louis. We're going to make that deal, or in, wherever. That's probably another year or two away till I think they're ready to do that.
Hey, one more thing on Detroit too. I'm not a huge draft guy in the NHL. I don't follow it. I'm not like a draft expert by any means. I know every year you hear a couple names and those are the guys, right? And when Yzerman came, I think there was a lot of buzz because of how well he drafted. And then the lottery situation where they end up getting what was the 6th pick and they end up taking Mo Seider. And I think a lot of people were kind of disappointed. Damn, you should not be disappointed with that dude because he is a throwback. He's a monster of a man. And like they're already comparing him to Nicholas Kronwall and what he was able to do in Detroit. And I think he's probably got a little more, I haven't seen enough of him yet, but I think he's probably got a little more skill than Kronwall had with the puck. And that's saying something because people kind of laughed at Yzerman taking that pick and shit, he's the one laughing now because it looks like a home run.
Yeah, no. And he had a vision in mind, right? He's going to start building the team in these certain positions. And I'm looking here, another absolute stud they have. So that back end, you talk about Mo Seider. And then you've got Philip Ronick. This kid played heavy minutes last year. He's playing heavy minutes again this year. I mean, you're talking with those two right away. Those are both of them are top. They both could be top pair defensemen. You know what I mean? They have that ability. So they're building the team in the right spots. You're going to start seeing them plug via free agency and stuff. That's going to be down the road. Right now, just enjoy. They're playing this way. I don't know how long it'll last this year as far as being in the mix like they are right now, but man, they're fun to watch.
Well, if they fuck over the coin one more time, we'll be done with them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was the Montreal game, right? Like that was the one.
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't count. It doesn't count as a loss though, because it's Detroit. Or it's 30-0 in Detroit, Rupper. It doesn't count.
And I also forgot when I nominated that game to be the coin game. I forgot about Tyler Bertuzzi and his vaccination status, which we won't get into that. That's a whole other thing. But like him not being able to play, I think he would have been a huge help against the Canadians.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's another team here that I want to talk about is, and I want your guys' opinion on what you've seen so far. I've got the top tier. 2 teams are in my top. I said this before. I got tiers, right? I don't like ranking teams 1 through 10 or whatever, power rankings. I got top tier teams, the next tier, and blah, blah, blah. Top tier is Florida Panthers and Carolina Hurricanes. And right now I got Carolina number 1. This team is absolutely loaded. The way they play. Dude, they've given up 12 goals in 8 games. 12 goals in 8 games. And you got to give that group a lot of credit because on paper, I thought they maybe took a step back from last season. And I don't know of any sports where the big free agent in the offseason, when you lose him, usually there's a huge void, right? And Dougie Hamilton was the biggest guy in the market, biggest fish in the free agent market.
Yeah.
New Jersey paid him handsomely. They needed to, and they does a good job. Dougie's great for them now, and he's going to be great for them in the future. But that left a huge void down there. And this is where I love the creativity here because this team's looking at it, and they're like, hey, Dougie's going to be demanding up in the 9s. I think he get 9.5 a year forever. And so you start looking, and they go and they get Tony DeAngelo. They give him an opportunity to come in here. And without getting into, the circumstances with Tony DeAngelo, it was a little bit of a prove me contract for this guy who 2 years ago was number 5 or 4 in the NHL defenseman for scoring. He comes in there and he fills that void. He's got here. I saw this stat the other day. It blows my mind. As far as when you look for goals for and then goals against when that player's on the ice, right? Goals for with Tony DeAngelo's 15. That probably puts him at, is tied for maybe 10th in the NHL. So that's fine. That's good and dandy. You look at his goals against, 0. He has not been on the ice for a goal against. And sure, you can say those are on the power play. But when you look at that, who else is in the round 0? There's players that are playing 6 minutes a night, 12 minutes a night. There's guys that have played a total of 36 minutes on the season. This guy's played 130 some minutes. The pairing with him and Ian Cole has been lights out. I mean, everything they're doing. Freddie Anderson, he knows where shots are coming from now. He's not left out to dry. He has a trust where these shots are come from. He's lights out. You look up front. I mean, this team is, I don't see a weakness, guys. I don't see a weakness with this group.
Hey, they're deep. And I kind of took some shots at them when the free agency happened, because you mentioned it. They made some head scratching decisions on paper, it seemed like, but you kind of forget that with the structure that they play with and Rod Brindamore as a coach, like bringing in a guy like Freddie Anderson is arguably an upgrade over what they had before, because like you said, Freddie with the Leafs, he's getting hung out to dry a lot and he's still a good goalie. And maybe he wasn't the guy to take Toronto over the hump, but if you give him a little support,
oh gosh, yeah,
he could be pretty fucking good, and he has been, and he's answered that bell so far. And then you look at what else, like Ian Cole, former Stanley Cup champion with the Penguins. He was like, even there, I think he was unheralded, and then he goes to Colorado and spend some time there. And that's a guy who he'll do whatever you need to win. And that can only help a guy like Tony DeAngelo, who, as you mentioned, he had himself in a little bit of a situation. But you go to a team like this now, you're playing with Ian Cole. I think that can only help him and show him, hey, this is the right way to play. You can still do it with your skill and your offensive talent, and I'll take care of you and clean up on the back end.
Yeah, no, man, it's that team right now. I don't know. I don't see anybody beating them right now. Nobody has, right? So
I was about to say they're losing to Chicago right now, 1-0, but they just tied it. It's 1-1 now. So
did they? Let's see who potted that one. I saw DeBrincat got the first one there, and then what we got? Who got Derek Stepan? I actually talked to Step the other day.
There's another guy.
Yeah, I talked to Step the other day, and he said to me, he goes, "Rupper, you'd love Rod. Rod's unbelievable." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "We've played 7 games. I feel like diving headfirst through a wall every game." I'm like, what? Like, how did he's like, dude, this guy, like, he says shit, and we just like, it feels like it's like high school football. Like, yeah, everyone gets up and goes out there. It's like the guy's got the it factor, and he speaks the language of the players, and man, he's been unreal. So I love hearing that stuff. It's a coach, man. When you want to play for a coach, you'll do anything for him. And they're doing that down there in Carolina. You know what? One thing I want to talk about, there's some news today. What do you guys think about PK? And I know people on social media are having fun with it. I think it's actually perfect. PK Slew band with the Slew footsies dishing out left and right. But like, dude, how many times, like, did the league get this right? Like, they just gave him a $15,000 fine.
All right, so Ruppy, I know we got a lot of hockey novices in the chat and that watch this show. So if you could explain to everybody what a slew foot is in hockey, that'd be great.
Yeah, so a slew foot is when you come up, you could be skating next to a guy or coming up from behind him, and you're putting your leg behind him to some degree. So whether it's your ankle, your knee, you're putting your one leg behind their legs, and you're basically pulling them backwards and sweeping their leg at the same time, right? So it's known in the hockey world as one of the most dirty possible plays. Like, I would rather a guy try to break my wrists with a slash than slew foot me, because we've seen guys, you fall back, you smash your head on the ice. We see guys that'll get their toe of their skate caught. They're blowing out all their ACL, MCL, all those good things. It's a dirty, dirty, dirty play. And PK, early on in the season, sometimes it'll get away from you and happen once. So we're 8
Sure.
games in. We'll be 8 games in now for the Devs. He did it to Ryan Reeves. Revo went down, hurt, came back. He was all right. Nothing was done about it. People were talking about it. About a week later, I don't know if PK had a death wish, but he goes and does it to Milan Lucic. You're literally picking the 2 worst guys in the entire league to do this to. He does it again. And guys are like, whoa. Nothing's done. I mean, I think what in the game, I think he got a 10 or whatever, but he didn't get a suspension or a fine. So then last night he does it to Trevor Zegras in Anaheim, and Zegras got hurt and left the game. I don't think he returned in that game, and they gave him a 15 grand fine. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I think you should. Is that enough? I think you should go.
No,
it's not,
because you keep doing it until you fucking got to sit out and it hurts your pocket more than $15,000.
Yeah,
it's on the NHL. It's always the NHL always does shit like this.
They do, but that's the maximum allowable amount they were able to fine the guy based on the CBA and the agreement with the players union and everything else. It's like, I need to ask you this, Rupper. When you guys see that, when you guys see a guy, the Matt Cooks, the Tom Wilsons, the PK Subbans, who gain a reputation, right or wrong, for doing something, and they seem to avoid the suspensions.
Yeah. Does
that piss you guys off? Do you care? Do you pay attention to it? Is it ever talked about in the locker room, or is it like you just handle it on the ice?
Here's the thing, and I want to say this because PK has not really been a dirty player in his career. So this is kind of a little, sometimes he's not dirty.
Right.
So I think it's one of those things that for whatever reason this year he keeps putting himself in this situation and does it. And it's something where as a player, it's going to be coming. Someone's going to do something about it. And that's just the way the league works. And some people may sit there and they might not understand that. They might not agree with that. They might think the game is different. But I'll tell you what, from being in that room, you'll give the league the opportunity to take care of business. If you don't feel like it's taken care of, it probably will be. And the guys have really long memories, man. I've had guys come at me from plays from 3 years before. And at the end, you're like, what the hell are you doing? It's like, dude, 2 years ago, you elbowed me in the face, broke my nose. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? So, it's, I don't know, man. It's, this is the one it reminds me of is we're playing against.
Here we go.
Eric.
This is what I'm here for. Here we go.
So Eric Bolton.
Story time. Let's go.
Eric Bolton was playing in Atlanta, and I was with the Devils. And we line up, and I don't remember how the first one started, but we get in a fight. It's kind of a shitty fight, to be honest with you. Like, not much happened. And I end up falling on top of him. And as I'm falling, I fell on top of him, and I didn't think anything of it. We get up. I get up. I go to the penalty box. He goes off the ice, and I see blood on the ice. I'm like, I know I didn't even hit him with a punch. He didn't hit me. I didn't hit him. So I'm like, oh, that was weird. What happened? I wonder if he, hit his face on the ice or something when we went down. So whatever, we go about the game. I serve my 5 minutes. I come out. I'm playing, and all of a sudden, like in the second period, I'm sitting there for a face-off, right? So I'm facing the inside of the circle where the ref's dropping the puck, and then right next to me, all of a sudden, stops right here, and I turn, and he's facing me square. Like, he's not even looking at the face-off circle. He's just facing me square. And he's got 2 plugs right up his nose. His nose is like this wide, and he's like, you fucking broke my nose, you piece of shit. Yeah, he's just going nuts. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I go, dude, I didn't even touch you with a punch. He goes, when you fell, your forearm went right across my face. You smashed my nose, blah, blah, blah. I go, bud, listen, I'm telling you flat out, that was not intentional. He's go, bullshit, we're going again. I'm like, hey, I'm going to say this one more time. Like, that was not intentional. I'm not that guy. I wouldn't do that intentionally. But I'm like, if you want to go again, we'll go again. So we drop the gloves and we fight again. And he still wasn't satisfied for how it went, right? So then later in the game, there's a scrum, and there's a 5-on-5 just kind of scrum. So I fought him twice already. And all of a sudden I see on the other side of the pile, I see Eric Bolton just weaving his way through guys, moving guys. I'm like, there we go. Drop him a third time in the game. And we fight. And I'm like, and so then literally later, this fast forwarding probably 2 years, I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm leaving the rink. We just got done playing. I don't remember what team he was on at that time. We're leaving the rink after the game, and he's walking out to the bus, and I'm walking right with him. We like just we both enter the hallway and kind of meet up with each other.
Good time.
And he just says, and he's like, I go, dude, listen, I know we had that. I never, ever, ever would do that to you. Like it's fine. If you want to fight me 10 more times, like that's fine. But I would not break your face on purpose, like with my forearm. And he's like, oh no, he was the coolest dude ever. Everybody I talked to is the greatest guy ever. And then like a year later, I'm playing in with the Rangers. He's with the Devils, and he just two hands me and breaks my thumb. I'm like, all right, cool. So you said we were good. You said we were good, but then you hung on to it. But dude, that was literally like 5 years went by. 5 years went by, and the dude still wanted to get a piece. So guys don't forget stuff. So I don't know if it's going to come. I hope it doesn't come after PK, but he's got, if you get suspended, maybe that avoids some of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a topic of conversation every year, all throughout the year. We all call it the wheel of justice, the wheel of discipline, whatever you want to call it, where it feels like they just spin a wheel, throw a dart, whatever you want to say, and wherever it lands, that's what you get. There seems to be no consistency or rhyme or reason, and we hope it changes, but it won't. So we live with it, and we make jokes about it, we make memes, and we do the best we can, and we try and bide our time. Here, let's take a moment here and give a shout out to our sponsor for this episode. That's Hockey Talks presented by OSTRIM. These meat sticks. Ruppy, you got a chance to try these finally. We got to send some to your place. You love these things, huh?
Dude, I open up this box. In this box, I pull out a hat. I pull out a big coffee mug, and then I move it, and it was like endless sea of beef sticks in this
meat
box.
Heaven, dude.
And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like moving this stuff, and there's teriyaki, there's spicy, there's barbecue, and I just I'm just crushing them. And the best thing about them, and it makes they're healthy, man. They're healthy, so I don't have to feel guilty eating beef sticks anymore. I love it.
Absolutely. Only the highest quality cuts of meat in the sticks. They get a wide variety, 100% grass-fed beef, pasture-raised ostrich and elk. I bet you weren't thinking you were going to be eating ostrich, but here you go. All natural turkey and chicken. You can find the sticks at GNC. You can get them at Vitamin Shop. You can get them at Smoothie King, or make it easy on yourself. Go to OSTRIM, OSTRIM.com, and use coupon code THT for That's Hockey Talk for 10% off your purchase. Shout out to OSTRIM, our sponsor. Boys, got a surprise for you. It is that time. The hockey aficionado himself, Pat McAfee, has joined us. Here we go. How you doing, Pat?
Boys, hey, shout out to OSTRIM, huh? You guys are eating those, yeah?
Crushing them.
Respect. Okay, cool. We have some at the office. I tried a little bit. They're a lot. Hey, they fill you up. They
big sticks. They are big beefy sticks.
They are. They're fucking meat sticks, dude. Those aren't. They're tough to compare them to anything, Gump. I mean, legit, those things are fucking meat sticks, bro. Anyway, Rupp, I didn't know you fought a guy for 5 years. That's fucking awesome. That's like Family Guy and the Chicken. You know that fight. That's like what I thought of. You and that guy brawling. Him breaking your thumb at the end of this whole thing is awesome. Like that, I know it probably stunk for a while, but that's awesome.
Yeah, it was real awesome. That was real awesome getting your thumb broke. But
that stinks. Your thumb probably still hurts to this day. The whole thing, I would assume. So I apologize for that. But it had to end somehow. Are we playing the drums or not? Is what happened with the?
Yeah, we. I mean, I told you I can't. I can. I will, but I can't actually do anything. I mean, I can play this table just as good as the drums. Well, you got any musical talent, Pat, or what?
I stink, dude. All right, I've been trying to play the guitar with Aaron Rodgers every Tuesday. Now, who knows how that's going to go? It's going to be a different tune. We're going to be singing a different tune.
Let me just say this: Are you Pat? Look at me. Are you good? Are you good? I was seeing some stuff today, man. I don't know. I'm sitting here. I'm like,
Rupper,
dude.
Rupper. I was getting buried in there. It was as if I did all the same stuff from some of the people, but it is literally the entire world kind of folding in on itself with the MVP of the NFL, and we just so happen to kind of have a small piece. He's been trending 1 or 2 for like good staying power here. It's like 14, 15 straight hours.
Yeah, man. No, you know what's funny and the let's just put it this way. I'm trying to be careful with my words here.
Come on, Uncle Rupp. Let's go,
baby Rupp.
So the man that was blaming this situation upon Pat McAfee and the Pat McAfee show, I had a little bit of a run-in with him, believe it or not. Hold on, don't.
Is this Double M?
Huh? No. Stephen A. Stephen A.
Oh, okay. All right.
Stephen A.
Okay.
So
it was Double M.
No.
Both formidable foes.
How many?
Dude, I thought we were getting into it.
Dude, Stephen A. big dogged me so hard when I was with the Rangers, and I can't anymore with them. I went up to him. I used to be a big Hoops fan, not so much anymore. And I went up to him.
Rupper.
I went up to him at our practice rink when he was doing something with the Knicks, and I was with the Rangers. And I walked up to him, and I'm like, Stephen A., man, what's it like? And he literally just big dogged me, looked at me, and turned the other way. And just I didn't know what to do.
He thought to himself, is this the guy that almost ran over Eli?
That's what I'm saying. And I almost ran over Rashid about 15 feet where I saw Stephen A. So he's, I don't know, man.
I enjoy Stephen A. He's always on. Which is why I appreciate. But him getting into hockey, ESPN getting into hockey is good. How about Weeksy? That was a great conversation. Yeah,
Weeksy's great, man. No, Weeksy's great. Having him on, dude, he's the real deal. Hockey's back at ESPN, and they did that stuff with Stephen A. And I'm saying that obviously tongue in cheek. Stephen A. is great. He's great. The more we can get Stephen A. talking about hockey, man, it's a good thing. So, man.
Fuck hockey as a whole, though. Like you guys need to do more Penguins talk. You know what I mean?
More Penguins talk. All right. Do you want me to give you
got you in here? This is what we were going to close out with Rupper.
Let me
had
give
it
you
on the agenda. Rupper,
I'm going to give you
what's going on.
I'm going to give you a story time. Okay,
Uncle Rupp.
So this actually came up earlier today because I was doing an interview in Edmonton radio. I don't know how this is crazy because why would Edmonton radio?
Radio.
I was doing an Edmonton.
27 people listening.
They were talking about the dude that hit the clinching or the big home run last night for the Braves.
Oh yeah,
the whole controversy. Yeah, the ball. What is it? The ball is the guy. Whoever got the ball wants this big, severance package to return this ball to him or something crazy. So they're asking me because, if I've ever seen anything like that in hockey. So I'm like, no, actually, I haven't. I haven't really seen anything like. If a player has a big milestone like that, the fans have always been really good, just like give it back, and then they'll give him a jersey or do whatever. So I started thinking of he asked me if I had anything of value. I've got a really unique jersey collection that I want to share with you guys.
Can't wait.
Okay.
And this jersey collection is like no other because the way I got these jerseys. Okay. So you know how when you're a kid and I'm older than you guys. So, collecting baseball cards or hockey cards, like if they messed up the spelling of a guy's name, you're like, oh my God, this thing's worth more money. This thing's worth more money. They fucked up on this,
McAfee.
It's rare. It's right. It's more rare.
Yeah.
So I'm playing in Pittsburgh and I bought a Mario Lemieux jersey. Okay. And I kept it in my stall. Mario's class act, like the best of the best. And I haven't, he's not really as the owner, like around that much. Like he's not involved every day in the locker room. So I took.
He's got wine to drink.
What's that?
He's got wine to drink.
He's big booze on.
He's got bigger fish to fry than the NHL team that's won 94 cups with him. But anyways, like he's not like in there. So I'm like, I'm gonna tuck this in my stall and I'm gonna wait because I want this for my own collection. This Mario jersey signed. So I come after practice one day, we do our workout. I'm walking through the training room, getting ready to leave, and Mario is laying on the medical table, getting his back worked on.
Fucking Gordon Bombay.
The big guy.
He's laying on the table, and he just has a towel around him. So he's naked basically, but he's got the towel around him. And I go, hey Mario, I'm like, hey man, I got this jersey in there. Do you mind signing it before I go? I've been having it in there for like a month, dude. I'd love to have this. Whatever. He's like, yeah, Repper, go get it. I'll sign it now. I'm like, no, dude, you're busy right now. I'll wait. Whatever. He goes, go get it now. So I come and he signs this jersey, and I'm walking away, and I'm like, I'm pumped because like the little kid in me is like, I got Mario Lemieux signed jersey, but I'm like, dude, Mario just signed my jersey naked. Like, how many people in the world have had Mario sign the jersey naked, right? I didn't really think of it. 2 years later, I'm in New York playing for the Rangers. I'm sitting there and I'm like, same story. I buy jerseys for every team I'm on. I have the Stars sign it, and it's my own collection. I'm no word of a lie. I'm leaving the practice rink, and Henrik Lundqvist was supposed to sign my jersey. And, Pat, I don't know if you know Henrik Lundqvist. Henrik Lundqvist is like all the women in the world. He's the most beautiful guy, GQ, everything, whatever. So I'm like, Hanky, do you sign my jersey? I'm like, he was supposed to sign it before practice. No, I didn't get it. Mind you, he's getting ready to go in the shower. I'm like, oh, I'll get the jersey. I'll wait for you out here. He goes, dude, bring me the jersey. I walk in the shower. He's got shampoo in his hair. He's in the shower naked. He signs the fucking jersey. I've got Mario Lemieux and Henrik Lundqvist jerseys signed by both men naked. Like, dude, there's no.
Hey, you're gonna have to get a certificate for that.
Nobody else in the world.
Somehow.
There's no one else in the world that can say they have that, and I've got those two guys. So I don't know. Maybe we auction those things off. We'll donate all the money to the Mario Lemieux Foundation. They do such great work in there in Pittsburgh. And if Mario's willing to sign off and say, yeah, you know what? By golly, I signed it naked. Then we'll sell that off to some son of a bitch, because that thing is going to be worth a lot of money. No?
Hey, I think so. I think if fucking
great idea.
I think if 2 6s comes in there and goes, hey, listen, I was butt ass naked when I did this thing. Yeah.
Hands down. I was butt naked. Yeah, that's when I signed it for Rupper. Let's do some good with it.
Hey,
if that's what you did, if that's what you did to get those guys, I'm afraid to ask what you had to do to get Sids or Genos or Wayne's or anybody.
I wish I had something like that, but that's it, man. That's a nice.
Hey, Sydney. Hey, Sydney's got the antibodies. This ain't gonna be a big deal. Sydney's COVID's fucking with Sydney, right? Sydney didn't.
Did he not have it already?
COVID got Sydney.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough sledding right now in the Berg, man. They get him back for one game and he's out again.
How'd he play?
He was all right in the game. I think he was no. I mean, listen, this guy sets the bar so high. He usually comes back after missing time, and he goes 1 goal and 1 assist and whatever. He didn't have any points that game. They lost. So, but yeah, he'll be all right.
Probably because he had COVID. Probably couldn't breathe. Couldn't breathe on the ice.
Did you have him on your show the prior day or no?
Huh?
Jesus, Rob.
No, man, I'm let it go. I'll let it go.
What are you talking about?
I said, was he on your show the prior day? Is that the new thing that's going to get out or what?
I don't know what this. These Aaron Rodgers things are going to get fascinating here. Because Aaron Rodgers Tuesday is going to continue, and I don't think the story's going to stop. So, at some point, Rubber's going to hit the road. You know what I mean, Rubber? At some point, Rubber's going to hit the road, and we're going to have to deal with it. I can't believe COVID is. I mean, Sid's out. Okay, there's like greatest player in the NHL. Aaron Rodgers is out, the MVP. Yeah. COVID still, and then in the world is all happening still. It's a wild. Like whenever we talk about this, I think years from now it's going to be tough to explain. So what was happening? Well, arenas and stadiums were filled, but quarterback couldn't play because, Sidney Crosby couldn't play because. Oh, okay, that makes sense, right? Yeah, absolutely. But really, what the fuck do any of us know? Rupper, we don't know shit about anything except for me with hockey and you guys with stories about stuff. You know what I mean? Are the Pens going to win this thing or not? That's all I need. Are the Penguins going to win the Stanley Cup? Do we stink? No, we don't stink. The Red Wings stink. My team suck in the comments. He said the Red Wings is my team, and it literally said my team suck. And then it said, the Red Wings are my team. And like, yeah, you're 100% right. My team suck. And I appreciate how active my team suck is in the comment section. And there's a great group down there, by the way. I've been in there a little bit of activity, and there's a lot of shit talk. Bruins stink, right? We all agree the Bruins stink. Penguins are great. Like that. These are all things we agree on.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
How come the Pens are in last place in the Metro Division?
Rupper, put this man's mind at ease because today on the show, Foxy, the scumbag that he is, pulled up the standings, and it was completely misleading because the Pens have less games played than a lot of other teams. They're battling all these injuries. So it kind of helped Pat sleep at night, put his mind at ease.
We're in last
let
place.
Him know.
Let
him know what's going
COVID's
on.
attacking Sid.
Let me say this. I don't know what the future holds. The Pens haven't had a healthy night with all their boys yet. But I will say this. There is a chance I would not be surprised if the Penguins found a way to get it going and won the Stanley Cup this year.
That's what I'm talking about.
The Detroit Red Wings, I love their future and what they got. There ain't no chance in hell that team wins the cup this year.
No, they stink. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So it's like, are either team going to win the cup or look like it right now? No. But at least one team, the Penguins, you can argue you wouldn't be surprised if they did.
You kind of put us both in the same sentence there at the end, so I don't know how I exactly feel about this, but I do appreciate that. You guys did a great show here. I appreciate you guys. I love this.
Hey, appreciate you jumping on, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Hey, Rupper, don't be eating too many of them OSTRIM sticks. All right?
Yeah, I'll try not, buddy.
Gonna need a bigger hoodie.
Hang in there, bud.
That's a good looking hoodie.
Huh?
That's a good looking hoodie.
Yeah, I like that one. I got for the brand shirt underneath right here.
Oh, really?
Oh, look at this guy.
Oh,
Baby
Rupper.
Rob.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you real quick. So I'm at the MLB Network offices. That's where NHL Network, we share the same building. And I'm walking through. I'm going to do some video on NHL Network. And I was wearing this shirt last week. And this dude in edit, I didn't know who he was at first. His name's John. I come to learn. He goes, did Pat send you that? And I never met this guy. I'm like, hey, I'm Mike. And he's like, I'm John. I'm like, did Pat? I mean, yeah, they sent me some stuff. He goes, dude, does he send that to everybody that's on his show? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, but we're doing a hockey podcast. You guys are doing a fucking hockey podcast. Dude, you got so many fans everywhere. This dude's like, I saw you when you're on Pat's show talking about the Trashers. I didn't know you guys got a hockey thing going. So we got another fan all brought up because of the shirt. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Man, I am very lucky to hear that and thankful that you're with us, man. So I appreciate you representing out there. And also, I mean, if he's working at the MLB Network, baseball fucking stinks. So that guy, he's looking to do.
He's looking for something else, man.
Anything other than what he has.
I brought him to the dark side with hockey and football. So we're good.
Let's go.
Hey, I love that guy, John. Tell him I said hello, and I appreciate you too.
He's probably watching right now, so I'm sure I'll talk to him.
John.
Shout out,
Hi, baby John.
Hey, thanks for all your hard work over at MLB Network, John. I mean, we've been watching all year. What a fucking season. What a season.
Hell of a ride. Hell of a ride.
Way to go. All right. See you guys.
We'll see you, bud.
Well, I don't know how we top that. So I think we send it off into the night. But before we do, boys, let's not forget about our friends at SeatGeek. Because if you want to go to a game, if you want to experience all the magic that is a hockey game live in person, because it is the best sport to go watch as a spectator live in person and be in the arena, SeatGeek is your number one option to find the best, cheapest, most amazing experience in ticket buying you can possibly ask for. Shout out to SeatGeek. Use the link in the description of this video right now. If you're listening to the podcast, go to the YouTube, youtube.com/That's Hockey Talk, subscribe, and then bang this link, save 15% off of any game purchase for NHL tickets that you could want.
Yep.
Thank you, SeatGeek.
Hey, before we take it home, Gumps, what are you feeling here? We were talking about before we came on. Jackets Avalanche is just underway. I don't know if you guys got what they're showing up or not, but I like the Jackets in this one.
5-1 to start. Draisaitl scored for Oilers. 10 seconds later, Duchesne answered back for Nashville.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, here we go.
I am on the Oilers to win in 60 minutes in that one.
I like that. That's good. You should be good there.
Yeah,
their power play is like 48%. Something stupid right now.
I mean, Blue Jackets money line is dropping as we go. Like it was plus 160 a minute ago. Now it's plus 150. So
I took Blue Jackets puck line plus 1.5. I think they can win, but I've been so ice cold lately. I've been so in the shits lately that I had to get a little insurance there with the +1.5. I think it was -156. So, fucking hang on, Columbus.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one, Columbus. I think they win this game.
Lightning at Toronto tomorrow is an interesting matchup too. Lightning are +108.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hey, if Vasilevsky's playing, I'm already hammering the Lightning.
You're already on it?
Already, because I bet against them last night, and I took the Caps because the Caps have been playing so well, and I thought, hey, the Lightning are a little banged up. They're missing guys. I thought the Caps would just roll. They did not. They got down early. They've made it a game and came back. But Vasilevsky, man, he's so fucking good.
So good, man.
I can't believe Calgary's gonna fucking trade Kachuk.
They better not, dude. That'll be the worst thing they could possibly do. But maybe they're not willing to pay him. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. But fuck, man.
I don't know. That's another discussion for another time. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Weeksy, Kevin Weeks for jumping in and filling in for us late. Shout out to Pat for jumping in and bullshitting with us for a little bit. Appreciate everyone listening and following along at That's Hockey Talk on Twitter and Instagram. And Rupper, did you figure out your names yet on Twitter and Instagram?
My what?
Your username on Twitter and Instagram. Did you figure that out yet? At Rupper17.
No, it's at Rupper17, and then Rupper1771, I think, is Instagram.
There we go.
If not, then send it to that guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy too.
Give Rupper a follow. We're going to work on teaching him and schooling him up a little bit on the social media thing. We appreciate him as always and all his stories. Thank you guys so much. And that's Hockey Talk.